The station corridor lights dimmed as the human technician reached his door. His name was Aaron Hale, and he had learned that dim lights usually meant the station was saving power again. He rubbed his eyes, tired from a long shift repairing climate systems for species that breathed gases humans could not even smell. His job was simple in theory and exhausting in practice. Fix what others broke. Smile politely. Do not panic when something with too many eyes stared too long. Aaron pressed his palm to the scanner. The door slid open. Someone was already inside. She was leaning against the inner frame like she owned the place. Tall, smooth-skinned, and very clearly not human. Her skin held a soft silver tone, not metal, but something alive that reflected the light gently. She wore nothing at all, and she did not try to hide it. No crossed arms. No turning away. She just looked at him with bright, curious eyes and a wide grin that showed no fear. Well, she said in perfect standard, say something. Aaron forgot how to breathe. His first thought was that he was hallucinating. The second was that this was some kind of station prank, though no one joked like this. The third thought arrived late and unhelpful. She is naked in my doorway. He dropped his tool case. It hit the floor with a loud clatter. The alien woman tilted her head, amused. That counts, she said. But I was hoping for words. Aaron forced air into his lungs. He looked down the corridor. Empty. No security drones. No curious neighbors. Just the quiet hum of the station. You shouldn't be here, he finally said. She nodded seriously. Correct? Then why are you also correct? She replied, as if he had asked the right question at last. May I come in fully? Your doorway is a poor place for conversation. You're already in, Aaron said weakly. Technically half, she replied, stepping inside with a smooth, unhurried motion. The door slid shut behind her. Aaron backed up until his legs hit the edge of his sleeping unit. His heart hammered. He was not afraid in the way danger usually felt. There were no claws, no weapons, no threat in her posture, but everything about this was wrong. Very wrong. Who are you? He asked. She looked around the room with interest, eyes taking in every detail. My designation in your language would be Lirai, she said. I am an observer. Observer of what? She turned back to him and smiled again. You. Aaron rubbed his face with both hands. Okay. This is not happening. I'm tired. I'm overworked. I fell asleep standing up.
You are awake, Lirai said gently.
Your pulse is elevated, but your brain patterns indicate full consciousness. He stared at her. You're scanning me? Yes. Stop. She blinked. A boundary. Thank you. She tilted her head slightly, and Aaron felt a strange pressure fade from behind his eyes. Stopped. He swallowed. Why aren't you wearing clothes? She glanced down at herself, confused. Is this not acceptable? In my culture, Aaron said carefully, people usually wear clothes. Usually, she repeated. But not always. Not always, he agreed. But there's context. She nodded slowly. Your species places meaning on concealment. Ours does not. Aaron exhaled. Of course it doesn't. She stepped closer, curious but not aggressive. You are uncomfortable but not hostile. That is interesting. Glad you're enjoying this, he muttered.
Lirai tilted her head again.
I am. This interaction is already valuable. Aaron straightened. Interaction for what? Why are you really here? Her smile softened. Because your kind is being studied. Quietly. By who? By those who fear change, she said, and by those who hope for it. That sent a chill through him. Which one are you? She did not answer right away. Instead, she walked to his small table and touched one of his tools, examining it with interest. Your devices are crude, she said, but flexible. Like you. Thanks, he said flatly. I think. Lirai finally looked serious. I am here because your species behaves differently under observation than expected. Humans adapt. You question.
You resist quietly?
Resist what? She turned to face him fully. Control. Before he could respond, his wall console flickered to life. A red symbol pulsed on the screen, followed by a message that made Aaron's blood run cold. Watch before deleted below it. A timer began to count down. What is that? He asked. Lirai's expression changed. The playful curiosity vanished, replaced by focus. That is a warning, she said, and an opportunity. The screen displayed a short video clip. It showed a council chamber filled with non-human figures, their forms blurred by security filters. Voices overlapped in distorted tones. Human exposure risk unacceptable, observer compromised, data must be erased. The video ended abruptly. Aaron looked at Lyrae. They're talking about you? Yes. And humans. Yes. You said your presence here was illegal. She nodded. If discovered. You were discovered, he said, pointing at the screen. Not yet, she corrected. This message was meant for me. It was rerouted. To my room, Aaron said. Because I am here, she replied. And because you are involved now. Aaron laughed once, sharp and humorless. Involved how? I opened my own door. You did not scream, Lyrae said. You did not attack. You did not report me immediately. He stared at her. Those were options? Yes. And what would have happened if I chose them? She paused. The study would adjust? That's not an answer? No, she agreed. It is not. The timer on the screen ticked lower. Aaron paced the room. So let me get this straight. You're an alien observer hiding in my room. There's a secret council watching humans. They don't like what they see. And now I'm somehow part of this because I didn't panic fast enough. Lyrae smiled faintly. When you say it like that, it sounds dramatic. It is dramatic. Yes, she said calmly. That is why it matters. The console beeped. A new line of text appeared. Erasure in 459. What happens when that hits 0? Aaron asked. The data vanishes, Lyrae said, including records of your resistance potential. My what? Your kinds, she corrected, but yours specifically as well. Aaron stopped pacing. So what do we do? Lyrae looked at him with open honesty. You decide. Me? You, she said. I cannot interfere directly without confirming the council's fears, but a human choosing to act is acceptable. Aaron stared at the countdown. His life before this moment was simple. Fix systems. Get paid. Stay invisible. He had never wanted to be special. He looked at Lyrae again, at the alien who stood in his room without shame or fear, at the message that should not exist. What choice are you studying? He asked quietly. She met his gaze. Whether humans will protect knowledge even when it costs them safety. Aaron took a deep breath. Okay, he said. First choice. You're getting dressed. She blinked, then smiled. Understood. As she turned away to examine his storage unit with curiosity, Aaron moved toward the console. His hand hovered over the controls. He did not know what would happen next.
But he knew one thing. He was not closing the door on this.
Aaron did not sleep that night. He sat on the edge of his sleeping unit while the station lights shifted through their artificial night cycle. Lyrae sat across from him on the floor, legs folded in a way that looked uncomfortable but apparently was not. She now wore a loose human jacket and simple trousers, both several sizes too small. The clothes looked strange on her, but they helped Aaron think more clearly. The countdown on the console had stopped at 4 minutes and 59 seconds. Frozen. Waiting? You did that? Aaron asked.
Lyrae nodded.
I slowed the erasure loop. Temporarily. Temporarily meaning? Minutes? Perhaps less. Aaron ran a hand through his hair. Great. No pressure. She watched him closely. You are handling this better than projected. I don't feel like I am. That is common for humans, she said. Your internal stress does not always match your actions. Aaron stood and began pacing again. You said the council is afraid of humans. Why? They fear unpredictability, Lyrae replied. Most species respond to pressure in expected ways. Submit. Collapse. Become aggressive. Humans do not follow clean patterns. That doesn't sound scary, Aaron said. It is, she replied softly, to those who rely on control. Aaron stopped pacing. What exactly are they controlling? Lyrae hesitated. Information. Development paths. Cultural speed. You mean they slow down civilizations on purpose? Yes. Aaron felt something cold settle in his chest. And humans? You advance too fast, she said. Not technologically, socially, mentally. You argue with authority. You survive contradictions. You cooperate under stress. We fight a lot, Aaron said. Yes, Lyrae agreed. And still form bonds. The console flickered again. Another message appeared, shorter this time. Oberzer location probable security sweep in progress, Aaron stared at it. That sounds bad. It is, Leray said. How long? 7 minutes until the sector is scanned. Aaron looked at the door, then back at her. So what's the plan? You are asking me. You're the alien expert. I am not meant to lead, she said. I am meant to watch. Well, watching is going to get you caught, Aaron said, and me arrested. She studied his face. You could still report me, Aaron scoffed. And tell them what? That a naked alien observer appeared in my doorway with secret data about humanity? Yes. They'd lock me up for evaluation. Correct, Aaron sighed. So that's not happening. You choose involvement. Looks like it. He moved toward his storage wall and pulled out a spare utility cloak. This won't fit you either, but it might help. She accepted it carefully, as if it were fragile. You are protecting me. Don't read too much into it, he said. I just don't like bullies. That made her smile. The station announcement chimed softly. Attention residents. Routine security sweep in progress. Please remain in your quarters. Aaron froze. Routine, he muttered. Leray stood and moved closer to him. If they scan this room deeply, they will find me. Is there anywhere else you can go? He asked. Yes, she said, but it requires access I do not have. Aaron frowned. What kind of access? Maintenance routes, she said. Human-built ones. Aaron blinked. You mean the old crawlways? Yes, those aren't on official maps, he said slowly. Exactly. Aaron smiled for the first time since this started. Okay, I like where this is going. He moved to a panel near the floor and removed it with practiced ease. Behind it was a narrow tunnel, dark and dusty. I forgot these even existed, he said. Your kind builds redundancy, Leray said, then forgets it. That is also interesting. After you, Aaron said. She paused. If I am caught, you won't be, he said firmly. Go. She slipped into the tunnel smoothly. Aaron followed, pulling the panel back into place behind them. The crawlway was tight and unlit. Aaron moved by memory, counting turns, listening to the faint hum of the station through the walls. Do you feel fear? Leray asked quietly as they moved. Yes, Aaron whispered. A lot of it. And yet you proceed. It means be careful. She was silent for a moment. That distinction is rare. They reached a junction where the tunnel widened slightly. Aaron paused, listening. Through the wall, he heard faint mechanical sounds. Drones. They're scanning, he said. Leray closed her eyes. They are closer than expected. Can they detect you? Yes, she said. If they isolate the signal. Aaron thought fast. What if they detect me instead? She opened her eyes. Explain. Human life signs are noisy, he said. Stress, movement, heart rate. If I move away from you, maybe they'll lock onto me. That would put you at risk. He shrugged in the cramped space. Already there. Leary reached out and touched his arm lightly. Her hand was warm. This choice is not insignificant. None of them are, he said. Go left at the next turn. There's an access ladder that leads near the water processors. And you? I'll make some noise. Before she could argue, he squeezed past her and moved down the opposite tunnel, deliberately scraping his boot against the metal. Almost immediately, the hum of drones shifted. Aaron ran. He burst out of the crawlway into an empty maintenance bay and slammed the panel shut behind him. Alarms did not sound, but the air felt tense. Okay, he whispered. Come on. The console on the wall lit up as he passed. Another message flashed briefly. Human subject confirmed stress response. Stable Aaron did not stop to read it. He ducked into another corridor just as 2 security drones floated past, scanning the area he had just left. Minutes later, breathless and sweating, Aaron slipped back into a different crawlway and followed the path toward the processors. When he finally emerged, Leray was waiting. You made it, she said. Barely, he replied. You? I was not detected. Aaron leaned against the wall, catching his breath. Good. She looked at him with something like awe. You diverted them without hesitation. Didn't feel heroic, he said. It is an action taken despite feeling. The station lights flickered again. The sweep was ending.
Leary turned serious.
The council will escalate now.
They will no longer assume I am alone.
Aaron nodded. And they'll be watching humans more closely. Yes, he straightened. Then what? She met his eyes. Then this becomes bigger than me. Aaron let out a slow breath. Figures. In the distance, the station returned to normal. The announcement chimed again, declaring the sweep complete. Aaron looked around the quiet maintenance room. You know, he said, I used to think being unnoticed was the safest way to live. And now? Lyrae asked. He gave a small, tired smile. Now I think being human means you get noticed whether you want to or not, she smiled back. Aaron learned very quickly that once you were noticed, the universe did not look away. The next cycle began quietly, which made it worse. The station returned to its usual rhythm. Lights steady, corridors busy, voices overlapping in dozens of languages. To everyone else, nothing had changed. To Aaron, every sound felt sharp. He and Lyrae moved through the lower maintenance levels, staying off main routes. She walked beside him now, not hiding her presence, but altering it. Her skin tone dulled slightly, reflecting less light. Her posture changed too, shoulders relaxed, movements slower, less noticeable. You're blending in, Aaron said softly. Yes, she replied. I am reducing points of attention. Wish I could do that, he muttered. You already do, she said. Humans fade when they choose to, Aaron snorted. Not today. They stopped near an old diagnostic station. Aaron activated it with his wrist unit, the screen flickering to life. The system isn't tied to the council network, he said. Barely works, but it's ours. Lyrae leaned closer, watching the scrolling data. Your technology is inefficient, she said, but difficult to suppress. That's our specialty. The screen flashed a warning symbol. Multiple observers' active data interference detected. Lyrae's expression tightened. They are searching for me indirectly now. What does that mean? Aaron asked. They will provoke responses, she said. Crises, conflicts, small pressures, to see how humans react, he realized. Yes, Aaron leaned back against the wall. So were lab rats. From their perspective, Lyrae said. But they are miscalculating. Let me guess, Aaron said. They always do. She looked at him. They believe pressure reveals weakness. With humans, it reveals creativity. As if summoned by her words, the station shook slightly. An alert chimed. Attention. Minor systems failure in Habitat Ring C. Power fluctuations expected. Aaron's jaw tightened. That's not minor. No, Lyrae agreed. It is intentional. Aaron was already moving. People live there. Yes, she said. That is why it will be observed. Then we're stopping it. You cannot stop all of it, she said carefully. No, he replied. But we can help. They reached a transit junction where engineers were already gathering, shouting updates in overlapping voices. Screens showed darkened corridors and failing life support regulators. Aaron pushed through the crowd. I know the old grid, he said loudly. I can reroute power manually. A senior engineer looked at him skeptically. You? I helped install the backups, Aaron said, before they were buried under 5 layers of improvement. That got a few nods. Go, the engineer said. You've got 10 minutes before atmosphere stability drops. Aaron grabbed a toolkit and turned to Lyrae. Stay here. She shook her head. No, this is part of it. This is dangerous. So is being studied, she replied. He didn't argue further. They reached the access chamber, heat already rising. Warning lights pulsed red. Aaron moved fast, opening panels, bypassing locks. Human systems are chaotic, Lyrae observed. They require intuition, or desperation, Aaron said, wiping sweat from his brow. The console flashed another message, this one invisible to others but clear to Lyrae. Subject response exceeds projection emotional stability. Maintained they're watching you, she said quietly. Tell them to get a hobby, Aaron replied. He rerouted the power manually, hands shaking slightly as he worked. One wrong move and the entire ring would go dark. Lyrae watched closely. You are under extreme stress, she said. Yet you prioritize others. People come first, he said. That's not special. The lights stabilized. The alarms softened. A cheer rose faintly from the corridor. Aaron leaned against the wall, exhausted. Okay, that's one crisis down. Lyrae turned serious. There will be more. Before he could respond, security drones flooded the junction, faster and more aggressive than before. This time, there was no pretense of routine. Human Aaron Hale, a synthesized voice announced. You are requested for immediate questioning. Aaron froze. Leroy stepped forward instinctively. This is escalation. Looks like it, Aaron said quietly. The drone's scanners swept over them. One paused on Leroy for a fraction of a second too long. Anomalous signature detected, the voice said. Aaron's heart pounded. He raised his hand slowly. I'll go with you, he said. Oh. But she's just a civilian helper. That is inaccurate, Leroy said calmly. Aaron shot her a look. Now is not the time. She met his eyes. This is exactly the time. She stepped fully into the scanner's field. I am Leroy, she said clearly. Designated observer, and this human is acting within his cultural norms. The drones paused. Observer status unauthorized, the voice replied. Yes, Leroy said. And your response confirms my report. Confirmation requested. Humans respond to coercion by cooperation with each other, she said, not submission to you. You're recording this? Yes, she said, and transmitting, the drone shifted. Aaron felt something strange then. Not fear, but resolve. He stepped beside her. If you're going to study us, he said, voice steady, then study this. We don't abandon people. The drones hesitated long enough for engineers and residents to gather, watching, listening, multiple human eyes on the scene. That changed everything. Escalation protocol paused, the voice said finally. The drones withdrew slightly. Leroy let out a slow breath. Observation point achieved. Aaron exhaled shakily. You planned that. I hoped, she admitted. Humans amplify each other, the crowd began murmuring. Someone started recording openly. Aaron looked around. This is going public, isn't it? Yes, Leroy said. And that is what they fear most. The station lights brightened, steady and warm. For the first time since opening his door, Aaron felt something shift, not just around him, but far beyond the station. Humanity had been noticed, and it was no longer just being watched. Aaron sat in the small interrogation room, the kind the station used for anyone considered unpredictable. The walls were pale, featureless, and too close. The chair beneath him was metal and uncomfortable. The light above buzzed faintly. He had been brought here alone, and for the first time since the chaos with Leroy, he felt fully exposed. The door slid open before he could even think. 2 non-human council agents stepped inside. Their forms were humanoid, but rigid, with angular faces and eyes that never blinked. One held a tablet, the other carried a small device that hummed faintly. They did not greet him. They did not smile. They only stared. You are Aaron Hale? One asked, voice flat and controlled. Yes, he replied. His voice sounded small in the room. You have been involved with an unauthorized alien observer, the agent continued. This observer has violated station security protocols. You are under scrutiny for assisting her. That's accurate. The agent studied him. Do you understand the severity? I understand that it's serious, Aaron said. I also understand that she needed help. Explain why you chose to protect her instead of reporting her immediately, the agent said, voice sharp now. Aaron leaned back in the chair, crossing his arms. Because humans value others' safety over bureaucracy. That's our choice. You can call it foolish, you can call it reckless, but it's ours. The agent's expression did not change. You are being tested. Your psychological stability is being measured under pressure. Your species is considered unpredictable. Your behavior is recorded. You may now resist interrogation. Aaron frowned. So what? You think I'll break because of a conversation? The second agent activated the small device. A low hum filled the room. Aaron immediately felt a pressure in his head, like someone was pressing against his thoughts. Memories flashed, images of past failures, fears, doubts. He could feel the system trying to push him into panic. He gritted his teeth. He would not give them the satisfaction. I don't feel anything unusual, he said calmly, though his heart was racing. Just a headache from poor lighting. The first agent tilted their head. Unusual. Most humans collapse under this influence. Most submit to control. Aaron leaned forward, voice steady. Most? Not all. Not me. The second agent intensified the hum. Aaron felt his hands tighten around the chair. Fear tried to rise, but he focused. He thought of Leroy, of the people he had saved in the habitat ring. He thought of the engineers, the families, the humans who stayed calm under chaos. You cannot resist, the agent said flatly. I can, Aaron replied. And I am. The device buzzed harder, images and voices pressing against him. He felt memories he had never had, false fears, projected failures, but he stayed seated, calm, controlled. The first agent stared at the tablet. Their angular face twitched slightly, a movement almost imperceptible. Your response exceeds expectation. Emotional stability maintained. Creativity under duress. Maximal. Humans are remarkable. Aaron blinked. So, you're impressed? Observation continues, the agent said. Do not test us with flippancy. Aaron smirked faintly. Just reporting facts. The second agent deactivated the device. The pressure vanished instantly, leaving Aaron exhausted but standing. He took a deep breath. Better? The first agent motioned toward the door. Your behavior is being transmitted. Do not speak further unless prompted. Aaron nodded. As they left, he sank back in the chair, relief washing over him. Then a familiar hum came from his wrist unit. A message appeared. This one from Leroy. Subject resistance confirmed. Record transmitted. Impact. Humanity observed. He smiled faintly. Of course it did. Minutes later, the door slid open again. Leroy stepped inside, fully visible and completely calm. She looked at him with a soft smile. You exceeded projections, she said. You did not break. You did not falter. You resisted as expected, and beyond. Aaron shook his head. You make it sound easy. It is not, she replied. But humans endure. He looked around the room. And now what? Now, she said, the evidence is undeniable. Humans do not respond to pressure like other species. They cooperate, they innovate, and they maintain their integrity even when challenged directly. Aaron nodded slowly. So the council will change? Not immediately, she said, but perception will shift.
Other species will see what we saw. Fear of human instability will turn into respect, or caution.
He leaned back. And me? You are recognized, Leroy said. Not for heroism in the traditional sense, but for choice, for acting deliberately when it mattered. That is what matters to your kind. Aaron laughed softly. I didn't feel deliberate. I felt terrified half the time. Choice is not diminished by fear, she said gently. You acted anyway. That is human excellence. He glanced at the device he had carried through the maintenance tunnels, at the console, at the crawlways. So all that running, all that chaos, it counts? Every action, she replied. Every calm moment. Every deliberate decision. All of it is observed. The light in the room flickered again. The council's presence was still there, but Aaron did not feel threatened anymore. He realized something new. They could see him, but they could not control him. Not fully. Not his choices, not his reactions. That was his. That was human. You understand why this matters? Leroy asked. I think so, he said. You're proving humans can't be manipulated like other species. Yes, she said, and more than that. You inspire others, even unintentionally. The council will broadcast these findings. Other observers will share the results. Your actions ripple far beyond this room. Aaron looked down. Feels like a lot of pressure. She tilted her head. Pressure is always present, but your species chooses response, not collapse.
That is what makes you disruptive.
In a positive way, he looked up at her, then around the sterile interrogation room. So I'm famous? In a sense, she said with a small smile. Not for glory, for what humans represent. Resilience, ingenuity, and integrity under scrutiny. Aaron shook his head. Never thought being myself would get me this kind of attention. Your kind underestimates itself, Leroy said softly. You survive chaos, and you grow from it. Others fear this because they cannot replicate it. They cannot predict it. That is your strength. The door slid open again, but this time no agents entered. The station's ambient light filled the room. I realized that for the first time since the sweep he felt safe. Not completely, but safe enough to breathe. You have endured, Leroy said, and in doing so, you have proven your species remarkable. That alone may alter the station's policies permanently. Aaron gave a small, tired smile. So, what now? Now, she said, you go back to your life. But you understand the power of choice. The Council understands that humans cannot be controlled like others. Your actions are recorded in history, even if quietly. He nodded slowly, letting the weight of it sink in. Quietly or not, it's still something. She stepped closer and placed a hand on his shoulder. Yes. Something extraordinary. Aaron laughed softly, a mix of relief and disbelief. All because I didn't freak out when a naked alien leaned on my doorway? Lyra's smile widened.
Yes.
And because you chose action over panic, calm over submission, you taught them what it means to be human. Aaron shook his head, staring at her. I never thought humans would impress anyone out here, least of all a species that doesn't care about modesty. She tilted her head. You are more than impressive. You are resilient. And your species is unstoppable when it decides to act. He laughed softly again, exhaling. Guess I'm part of the experiment now. Yes, Lyra said. And your choices have changed the outcome, not just for you, but for every human they observe from this day forward. Aaron looked around the room, feeling the quiet hum of the station, the residual tension from the sweep, and the steady presence of Lyra beside him. He realized something then. This was not about being famous or being noticed. It was about proving that humans, even alone or unprepared, could face pressure, danger, and uncertainty, and still act with reason, courage, and ingenuity. And for once, that was enough. Aaron stepped out of the interrogation room with a cautious ease he had never known before. The station corridors felt different, like he could see every shadow, hear every faint hum, notice the tiniest pulse of light in the walls. He had survived scrutiny, pressure, and manipulation. He had stood his ground. Somehow it had changed something, not just about him, but about humans. Lyra waited for him just outside the main door. She was calm, composed, almost serene, wearing the simple cloak that he had insisted she take. Her eyes met his, and there was a faint smile, one that carried approval, relief, and a quiet hint of mischief. You did it, she said softly. Aaron rubbed the back of his neck. We did it, he corrected. I didn't do much on my own. You guided the outcome, she said. You acted when it mattered. That is enough. The station lights pulsed gently, and Aaron realized that the atmosphere was different. Drones and security personnel moved past without stopping, and no alarms sounded. It was as if the station itself had recognized a shift. He glanced around. So, what happens now? You wait, Lyra replied, and you watch. Aaron frowned. Wait for what? The council cannot ignore what has been recorded, she explained. Your choices, your actions, your calm under stress, they cannot be erased. Not by law, not by protocol. The evidence is now visible across species, transmitted quietly but unmistakably. Humans are no longer a variable to control. They are a species that adapts, cooperates, and persists under observation. They are recognized as catalysts. Aaron's jaw dropped. Catalysts? Yes, Lyra said, a faint smile tugging at her lips. Not conquerors, not invaders. Observed and studied, yes, but with a new understanding. Humans provoke change simply by being themselves. That is what others fear and what they respect. He shook his head, incredulous. I never thought being human could make this much of a difference. You are human, she replied simply. And humans have always mattered more than they realize. As they walked through the station corridors, the air seemed lighter. Engineers waved, residents smiled faintly as if sensing something beyond themselves. Aaron noticed subtle shifts. Security protocols relaxed. Minor systems self-corrected faster than usual, and even the council's projected projections, the automated estimates of human behavior, were quietly adjusting. You've changed the perception of humanity, Lyra said quietly. Not in some grand war or fight, but through choice, reasoning, and resilience. That is far more powerful than force. Aaron blinked. So people will respect humans more now? They will, she said. Some will fear you, but fear tempered by respect is valuable. It is the beginning of true understanding between species. They reached the observation deck, a wide platform overlooking the central hub of the station. Humans and aliens moved in careful harmony, unaware of the subtle data streams now acknowledging the human potential. Aaron stared at the hub, feeling a strange pride. You realize, he said, that all of this started because I didn't freak out when you showed up in my room? Lyra laughed softly. Yes. That moment mattered more than you think. It was your choice, not your reaction, that changed everything. One simple decision made deliberately shifted the course of observation. That is how humans operate. That is why humans are disruptive. Aaron shook his head, feeling both humbled and astonished. Disruptive. That's one way to put it. They will remember this, she said. Not just your actions, but what humans represent. Integrity, ingenuity, resilience. That is your species' advantage. even against species with greater technology or strength.
Aaron looked down at his hands. I don't feel like a hero.
You need to understand that humanity itself is remarkable, and that your species' choices matter, whether you know it or not. You have demonstrated it. A faint alert chimed in the distance. Lorraine glanced at her wrist console and nodded. The transmission has completed. The evidence is now accessible to observers across multiple systems. Human resilience is now officially recognized. Aaron felt a thrill of disbelief. So, humans are famous now? In a sense, she said, but not for fame. For truth, for capability, for persistence. The Council cannot ignore this, nor can any species that studies humans. You are catalysts without needing to conquer or dominate. You simply are. Aaron exhaled slowly. And me? You are a witness, she said. A participant. Your choices have helped others see what humanity truly is. That is more important than personal recognition. He nodded, feeling the weight of it, the enormity of what had happened. For the first time, he realized that the moment in his doorway, the moment he had almost panicked over, was the seed that had grown into this profound recognition of his species. Funny, he said quietly, I never wanted any of this attention. Perhaps, Leroy replied, but attention is not what matters. Action matters. Choice matters. Humanity matters. He turned to look at her fully. So, what happens next for you? Leroy tilted her head thoughtfully. I continue my observation, she said, but now I am free to act more openly. I am recognized as an observer whose presence cannot be dismissed. I can influence understanding, guide others to recognize what humans have shown without fear of erasure. Aaron chuckled. So you get to keep doing your thing, but now people respect it? Exactly, she said. And you. Your choices have helped make that possible. He shook his head again, a smile tugging at his lips. I guess it all started because I didn't freak out when you leaned on my doorway naked. Leray laughed softly, the sound warm and musical. Yes, she said, that small moment was pivotal. One human's choice in a small room changed the perception of an entire species. Aaron stared at her in disbelief. I didn't even know that was possible. It is, she said simply. Humanity is capable of the unexpected. You have proven it today. The station lights shifted gently as if to punctuate her words. Aaron looked out across the observation deck at the busy corridors, the humming engines, the streams of light from countless consoles, and realized that the quiet, unseen influence humans had exerted in this station would ripple outward, reaching far beyond their immediate presence. You know, he said quietly, humans might just surprise the universe after all. They already have, Leroy replied, smiling, and they will continue to do so. Aaron exhaled slowly, a mixture of relief, awe, and pride washing over him. Guess being human really is enough. Yes, Leroy said softly, being human is more than enough. It is extraordinary. They stood there together, silent for a long moment, watching the station flow with life, energy, and quiet order. The council, the observers, even the other species, they could see the results now. Humans had endured, persisted, and shown their unique strength. Aaron realized something important. He did not need glory, recognition, or reward. He only needed to act as he had acted, and in doing so, humanity itself had been recognized, respected, and forever marked in the record of interstellar observation. Lyra nudged him lightly with her shoulder. Come, she said. There are still places to walk, people to meet, and lessons to share. Your species is remarkable, Aaron. Don't forget that. He smiled, feeling lighter than he had in months. I won't. Together they walked along the observation deck, silent observers themselves, now in a station that had learned something new. Humans do not collapse under pressure. Humans endure, humans act, and that was enough to change the galaxy's perception forever. Aaron looked out one last time over the central hub. He felt a strange peace. Lyra beside him, the station alive with quiet activity, and the knowledge that humanity, his species, had earned its place not by force, but by choice. For the first time he understood. Humanity was not just surviving in the stars. Humanity was shaping them. And in that moment, Aaron smiled. He had opened a door. He had chosen action over fear. And the universe had noticed.